Welcome to South Asia Maps, Mitrom and Bandhum. This is your presenter, Dr. Reddy. At South Asia Maps, I will bring South Asia-centric history, geography, culture to the audience, and I will also be posting other related generic, the world, geography, heritage, and so on. The current series is about human ecology. You can see this icon. Whenever you see this icon, that particular presentation is human ecology. Human ecology, human predicament, that is dilemma humans face on the planet Earth today. We have a great impasse, that is catch-22 position. And we are living in a bottleneck century with 8 billion people. This represents 8 billion. This is the world era of Asia on one side, and this is the new world on the right. That means take this world like a sphere 0 and put one more sphere that will become the 8 to represent in 2023 or so, or 2025 AD, there will be 8 billion humans living on the planet Earth, all of them trying to be Homo Colossus. I talked about what is Homo Colossus in part 5 of Ecology series. Homo Colossus compared to normal human being Homo sapiens essentially is a resource-consuming, gigantic, superhuman, and many people today in the planet Earth are trying to be a modest or medium-sized Homo Colossus. That is one of the great concerns for the ecology-oriented people about the human survival on the planet Earth. You can go and look that further. So, detritus is the dead organic matter or decaying organic matter. A cow dung is a detritus. Plant material falling off into the soil after some time decomposing is a detritus. Any dead decaying organic matter, even if any animal dies in the savannas or prairies and buried, that is a detritus. We being also the animals, that is human animals, we are also detritus once we pass away and buried on the planet Earth. So detritus is the dead organic matter, decaying organic matter. Any organism that consumes it is a detrivore, that is a herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, detrivore, that is plant eating or carnal flesh eating or combined, eats everything, eats detritus, survives on that. That is detritivore. Sometimes instead of I, the letter O is also used, detritus consuming. That is the Homo sapiens or detritus consuming. That may be surprise to you, and we will see why it is. The most common important feature of detritus consumers is they bloom, they increase their numbers tremendously, the numbers increase, eventually they collapse, they crash. The bloom and crash I represented here for detritus ecosystem detritivores, part 49. And this is Dr. Catton and his monumental book Overshoot. Most of the ideas I have taken from here, and other book Bottleneck, a professor at Washington State University, Pullman. And I have presented most of this series so far. This particular series is 49. You can see the detrivore humans, detritivore. Previously I talked about yeast, I talked about the algae. Next I will talk about the cars, the automobile. They are also detritivores. And the first 5 and next 10, 15, 20, you can go and look at them in the playlist that I have at my YouTube channel, and that is the South Asia Maps YouTube channel. Reddy, you can type it and you can find it. There are nearly 30 also a playlist of varied interests containing around about 260 presentations, each more than 15 minutes or so, meticulously made for your deeper understanding and intellectual sojourn. I will be putting this in the human ecology playlist for you, and you can also find me at South Asia Maps 2, the Twitter handler site. And that is about the Detritivore human colossus. Let's get into little more detail. This is the format I'll be representing, talking about for all the 4 detritivores that we are discussing: the algae, the yeast, the humans, and cars, and finally a review or bird's eye view of all of them. This is the detritivore. So all the detritivores voyage into the new world. In a sense, new habitat. They discover the new habitat or find a new habitat. They find a new habitat. They find this is a very enjoyable, plenty of resource laden, we can say the new world instead of the old world. That means when they find this new world, new habitat with a lot of resources, they grow. The population increases tremendously. That is called blooming, ecological bloom. Ecologically, they erupt. They grow in their number tremendously. They are now growing very happily. They are in exuberant mode. Ecological exuberance gives to social exuberance, emotional exuberance, and psychological exuberance, political exuberance, and so on. Even you can consider algae or yeast like a small microscopic human. They are pretty happy in that sense. Exuberant phase, anthropomorphically thinking. That means thinking in the human mindset. Anthropos means humans. Anthropology is study of humans. This here, because the humans, it should be macroscopic inhabitants. You can see that without microscope. Whereas the algae and yeast are microscopic. So this is the ecosystem. And organisms responded to the new world, the resources. They bloomed. They accumulated the waste products, their own religious bodily products called metabolites as well as the extra metabolites. That means they changed this very beautiful habitat. They polluted it. Now the resources are exhausted. These innocent organisms, incautious organisms growing very happily in exuberant mode, they all crash, they all die off. That is the bloom and crash is the nature of the detritus ecosystems. This is the generic format, and just relate this generic format to the Homo Colossus. Homo Colossus are Homo sapiens humans, but they consume tremendous amount of resources per day to live. A person, 80 kilogram person in the industrial world, driving 5,000 kilogram, that is 5 metric ton car by himself in an air-conditioned, centrally heated system. That is a type of resource consumption colossus, gigantic humans. Here the analogy from Dr. Catton's book is 1500 European voyages, discoveries from the Spain and Portugal. Europeans discovered the new world there, both Americas, that is North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, so on. And they found very good habitat. Europe, Africa, Asia was full of people, less jobs. It's a old world, not pleasant to live. So the new world, that means they have taken over the entire land mass present there, millions of square kilometers, that is 24 in North America, 17 South America, nearly 30 or 40 and round about 8, nearly 50 or so million square kilometers of the new land mass. At that time steam engine discovered, the fossil coal, oil, fossil fuels discovered from 1850 onwards. Their numbers grew tremendously. It is in a sense allegorically the world, new world he is talking about, more or less is applies to the every part of the planet Earth. At the time of discovery, 1500, there were 500 million people lived. When steam engine all started around about 1800 or 1818, 1,000 million people lived, that is 1 billion. And 1919, World War time, 2 billion. When Nixon demitted office due to Watergate, 1974, 4 billion. Now 2023 or so, there will be 8 billion. 1500 is half a billion, that doubled to 1, again doubled to 2, again doubled to 4, that is 74, again doubled, that is 4 times doubling enormously from 500 millions at the time of navigation and discovery of trade routes to the United States. That is the detritus. Their numbers have increased tremendously. Today there are 8 billion people. These are the resources. Now they have drawn down the digging for oil, coal and natural gas. These are the resources. Why they are detritus means all the humans are essentially nothing but cells. Cells are organized into tissues. Tissues into organs like nervous system, the reproductive system, excretory, digestive, all are wrapped with the skin. These are organisms. All these organisms now are raised not due to traditional agriculture, which are renewable and circular. Today, most of these 8 billion people on the planet Earth, they survive only due to eating the detritus. Detritus is the dead organic matter, decaying organic matter. That is coal, natural gas, oil or detritus. Oil is essentially detritus. Once a while it was a plant and microorganisms. They died, they buried, and high pressure and high heat made them into coal, oil, natural gas. That is essentially a modified version of detritus that today makes the tractors, the combiners, urea fertilizers, phosphate fertilizers that we spray on the farms, arable land on the planet Earth. Use the sowing machines, gigantic, sow them and apply the pesticides, apply the herbicides to kill the competitors which grow them. That is essentially the food we eat is coming from industrial agriculture. Combiners are harvesters. That is the base is the detritus. So this organism is detritivore, whereas his genetic cousin Homo sapien was not detritivore. He is an ordinary organism with little resource consumption, simple lifestyles, living in the villages. That's why now we have depleted the resources. We have altered the habitat by extracting these fossils, burning them, industrial agriculture, transportation, releasing the carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, global warming, all those things, habitat change, habitat destruction eventually will lead to the crash. In a broader sense, our numbers has to come down. Essentially, that what it means. It's not like totally there will be no humans like yeast or algae, but essentially that is a detritus life cycle. Remember, algae, like one season they will start growing again in the spring. By summer they bloom, they die and collapse again. The next year they will start the same thing, because whereas the humans, this detritus, oil, natural gas are only one time gift by the mother earth. Once we deplete it, that will be done around about 2050 or so. The most important resource, detritus, oil, and there will be no more oil to do all these things, transportation, automobiles and industrial food production. It took millions and millions of years. This is what is most important. What is the coroner's report means? In the Western world, when a person dies, an official of the government, not a medically trained professional, suppose the car accident happens or anything, he will say why the person died, what is the cause of the death, circumstance of this death. They say in the car accident 10 people are involved, 2 people severely injured, 1 person passed away. The reason for death is the fatal injuries for the human being, and so on. Later forensic people will come and they will investigate and so many things, whether is the what is the reason. So that is the coroner's report. The coroner's report, for this, if a coroner comes and makes a report, what will he write for this Homo Colossus, gigantic human being? He will say the same thing. These organisms died due to self-inflicted pollution. These organisms died of nutrient exhaustion. food depletion, the resource depletion, because they're involved in the industrial agriculture that was based upon the detritus system, the exhaustible resource. That resource has gone, the oil gone. There is no more food produced for these 8 billion people or to 10 billion people by 2050 or so. All their numbers crashed due to resource depletion, exhaustion, the habitat change, that they polluted their nest, their habitat. It's exactly the same report we have seen the previous detrivores, algae or yeast in the wine vat, the humans, the same thing. That's what I am trying to compare, overview all these things about the detritivore life cycles, the bloom and crash. Hope this will put you in proper perspective, and we are behaving the same like algae or algae in the pond or the yeast in the wine vat, humans on this island called planet Earth, 40,000 kilometers around the equator, with around about 150 million square kilometers the land mass, around about 360 ocean bodies, together around about 5-10 million square kilometers. Looks big, but just still a limited habitat. Thank you very much, and see you later in other presentations. And if you are listening me at share chat, I appreciate you take the time and put your comments or compliments or anything you want to say. That will really help me to modulate the talks. And you can also subscribe the YouTube channel and post your comments if you like them. And see you later in the other presentations.